Uncover the essential life lessons every man should have learned as a kid, from building strength and resilience to navigating relationships and mastering self-reliance. These are the truths you wish you knew growing up. Number 15. Finding his identity. Let's get real. Society often pushes boys to believe they have to fit into a certain box to be deemed successful or acceptable. And when they start buying into this lie, they lose themselves, performing for approval rather than being who they are. If a boy faces rejection, whether from authority figures or peers, he'll bury his true self even deeper, afraid to reveal what makes him unique. But the truth is, until a boy learns to embrace his authentic self, he'll stay stuck in perpetual boyhood. Manhood isn't something you mold or manufacture. A real man emerges, but he only does so when nurtured by unconditional love, active listening, encouragement, and coaching that's firm but gentle. The key is to draw out who he truly is, not try to turn him into something you think he should be. Number 14. Discovering his belonging. Independence is often held up as the gold standard for maturity, but no one is meant to go through life alone. Belonging is not a weakness. It's a critical part of human development. Our sons need to know they are worthy of connection and love. If they feel unworthy of belonging, they'll always think they're lagging behind others, never good enough to measure up. This feeling of not belonging stops them from being vulnerable, which stunts their emotional growth. Fathers play a critical role in this. Your presence is more than just being in the room. It's about spending quality, attentive time with your son. By being there, you verify his worth, showing him he's valuable not for what he does, but for who he is. It's through this bond that your son learns he's deserving of love, respect, and a place in this world. Number 13. Developing his voice. Every son has a voice, a perspective, and something to offer the world. But in order for that voice to come to life, he needs room to experiment, to fail, and to discover his unique talent. It's easy for parents to want to sculpt their child's path, to push them toward what we think is best, but this stifles growth. Walt Whitman once wrote, "The powerful play goes on, and you may contribute a verse." Help your son find his verse. Encourage him to try new things, even if he struggles. When he falls, remind him that failure isn't the end. It's part of the journey. Don't be quick to dismiss his ideas or his efforts. Instead, affirm him and let him know his voice matters. This will give him the courage to stand tall and contribute his part to the world's story. Number 12. Embracing his responsibilities. The world doesn't hand anything to a man on a silver platter, and that's a lesson every boy needs to learn. One of the hallmarks of manhood is taking full responsibility. A man doesn't run from his actions, his mistakes, or the impact he has on others. He owns them. More than that, a real man understands his duty to care for the people in his life. That means stepping up for those he loves and giving back to his community. It's easy to feel like we can coast through life, but at some point, every boy needs to realize that real growth comes from stepping up. Number 11. No one cares about you. However, to be brutally honest, as a man, no one truly cares about you. No one will come to save you. That's a privilege reserved for women only. Or if your father taught you life lessons like we discussed, that's amazing. But you must become your own hero or suffer a miserable existence. There is no sympathy for men in this world, and the sooner you realize it, the better, because men shouldn't rely on sympathy anyway. A man who begs for sympathy is a pathetic man, and instead you should become your own hero. Work extremely hard towards your goals, and as you level up, you'll notice people start to respect you. Number 10. Use your trauma. As a man, you'll experience a lot of pain. The modern world will convince you to talk about it, let your feelings out, and seek therapy. That's great advice if you want to waste the gift of trauma. Most successful people use their insecurities, pain, and childhood trauma to accomplish miraculous things. Listen to that again. Most, if not all, of the great men that walk the earth have used their pain as fuel. So carry that pain and use it. Once you've reached your goals, you can decide to let it go. You must be strategic as a man. Even with the way you use your trauma and pain, don't let it go until you've used it to your advantage first. Number 9, learn how to fight. Can you throw a knockout punch? As a man, you must know how to fight. Because no matter who you are or what you accomplish, if you can't fight, everything can be taken away from you, and you won't be able to protect your loved ones. Deep down, every man feels something is missing if he doesn't know how to fight. Do not misunderstand it. I'm not saying you need to become a pro fighter, but you have to know how to throw a punch, how to take a punch, and how to push through fatigue. The best way to do this is to simply walk into a fighting gym. Number 8, self-discipline. Self-discipline is very essential for every human being. If not, a man becomes frustrated and useless to himself. Imagine being a man blessed with endless potential, gifted with testosterone, and deciding to fap and play video games for hours a day. Pathetic. Discipline yourself, or you will look back when you grow old one day and regret not using your gifts during your youth. Number 7, understand women. You'll see 2 types of guys in the modern world: simps and guys that hate women. Both are pathetic. Learn about female nature and understand how women work, and your life will become 10 times better. This world is made of men and women, and we are better together than we are apart. Number 6, love God. Everything you see around you is a creation, and there is a creator for all of it. Love and respect the creator. With God on your side, you gained tremendous strength. The interesting thing is that whenever you speak about God, people always get triggered. They deny the existence of God with full certainty. It is the most arrogant thing a human could ever do. Do not be that guy. Number 5, always make time for family. To be honest, do you spend enough time with your family? Life is short, and every family member you have will pass away sooner or later. So make time for your love once it's priceless. Number 4, be honorable. Honor is becoming more and more rare in the modern day and age, especially in the Western world, where honor seems to have little to no value. The reality is that an honorless man is worse than scum. They will do anything to win, even betray loved ones, scam others, or sell their dignity. Listen, a good man would rather fail than succeed by fraud, because it's better to die 10,000 deaths than wound your honor. Number 3, learn how to read people. One of the most useful things is the ability to read. People think that any form of betrayal comes from a misjudgment of character. If you've ever been betrayed, you failed to read the other person. Obviously, you can never be 100% sure a person won't betray you, but once you know how to read people, you can assess the real friendship probability of every person. Number 2, real friendship. Most guys have fake friends. The strongest bonds are built by overcoming struggle. You only know who your friends are when you go through a catastrophe together. You have to go through an actual big problem that threatens to destroy you, and then stay far from weak. You'll know who your true friends are. Aside from that, pick friends that match your core values. Number 1, stay far from weak. No matter what happens as a man, you have to stay strong and far from weak. Every man should live with a man who's always pushing and always trying to stay strong, even in the hardest of times. If you pick yourself back up after defeat and re-engage, you are far from being powerless. If you carry the stress and problems of other people on your shoulders and don't complain about them, you are far from being a coward. If you aim to become 1% better every single day, you are far from a coward. Don't ever let the world break you down, because no matter what happens, we are close to becoming the greatest.